ერთ ისმის.
დაბალზე მოდის ხმა? კარგია, ხო? გამარჯობა. ერთი ორი ისმის? კაია? კაია.
Great. Nadie says you can hear me, so we're good. I haven't heard anyone, so
Dear
No, I do
guests,
not hear you,
please take your
Nadie.
seats. We will start soon.
It looks like both interpreter and Memen are on the call, but both are muted.
Please take your seats, all. Dear guests. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear guests, dear Wikimedians and Wikipedians, my name is Nino, and I extend a warm welcome to the annual meeting of CEE, Central and Eastern European Wikimedians, CEE meeting 2023. On behalf of our organizing committee and Wikimedia Georgia, it is with great pleasure and excitement to welcome you all to the CEE meeting, Wikimedia CEE meeting in Tbilisi. It has a special significance for the Wikimedia Georgia team because it is the first international Wikimedia conference and event to be held in Georgia. So we hope we meet all your expectations, and we hope that you all enjoy our city that has historically been the cultural and political hub and center in our region. So this gathering, thank you. This gathering marks a momentous occasion where great minds, diverse minds converge to exchange ideas, insights, and experiences related to Wikimedia movement. So it is actually a testament to a power of collaboration and the pursuit of free knowledge. Over the next 3 days, we have an outstanding speaker lineup of speakers and workshops and presentations that promise to stimulate thought. So our esteemed guests and participants represent a wide tapestry of expertise. So we are really very honored to have you all here with us today. As we begin our journey, let us all remember that this gathering is not all about dissemination of knowledge, but also about converging new relationships and connections. So please take this opportunity to discuss various topics and engage in meaningful discussions, network, and build new relationships with your esteemed attendees. Also, before we move on to the central part of our conference, I wanted to give you some information regarding our conference and the related processes. So, some conference sessions will be translated, and our translators are committed to delivering high-quality translation for you. So I would like to express our gratitude to our translators here and wish them success for the next 3 days. I would also kindly ask you to, when delivering your speech, please speak clearly and please speak clearly so that our translators can understand it and ensure timely and accurate translations for you. During our conference, we apply all generally accepted security policies of the Wikimedia movement. Among these policies are the friendly space policy, the Universal Code of Conduct and the safety guidelines for participants, which we first developed for this event together with the Wikimedia Foundation's Human Rights team. So we hope in the future the guidelines will become part of other policies that are applied during Wikimedia events. Also, we kindly ask you to familiarize yourself with these policies on our MetaWiki conference page. Links in the form of QR codes are given in the digital guide for this event. Furthermore, in our commitment to uphold a secure and welcoming environment at the conference, we have designated trust and safety officers who are responsible for maintaining the safe space. If you have any questions or want to report to us about issues within trust and safety, please contact our officers. Our trust and safety officers include Barbara Klein, Zura Blebanidze, and Akaki Balanchiwadze. You can easily identify them by their attire featuring blue t-shirts. Please introduce yourselves to our guests. Okay, thank you. At our conference, we respect the personal preferences of conference participants. If you prefer not to have your photograph taken during our conference, please pick up a lanyard of the appropriate color from the registration desk. The screen displays the meaning associated with each color for your preference. Coffee breaks and lunch will be served on site, and dinner will be served at the Delegates Hotel in 2 groups from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You have already been sent an email with information about which group you are in. Please check your email in this regard. We will have a tour on the evening of September 16 to the historical capital of the Kingdom of Georgia, Mtskheta. So buses for the tour will depart in front of the Delegates Hotel at 6 p.m. Please be there on time. The dinner will also take place in Mtskheta and begin at 8:30. Name of the restaurant where the dinner will take place is Shat Onat Akhtari. Buses back to the hotel will depart from 11 p.m. This is almost all I wanted to say and tell you. And now I will ask the head of Wikimedia Georgia, Mr. Mehman Ibragimov, to bring us the opening speech of our conference. Please, Mehman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nino, for a kind introduction. First of all, welcome to Tbilisi, welcome to Georgia, the center, cultural and political center of Caucasus. I'm so happy that I will see you all in Georgia. As a Wikimedia Georgia, we take so long way to organize this conference. We originally start to thinking about organize this conference in 2019, but then it's COVID time and etc. So we postponed until now, but still we are here, and I'm so happy for this. Wikimedia Georgia is committed to spread free knowledge, open source knowledge to all of local people, local Georgians, but also we are taking care of global movement, and we will involve in global processes to disseminate free knowledge to everyone. So this is our conference and our region also very serious in this kind of work. So I'm so happy that here in 3 days we will discuss all these matters and decide the future of our movement, at least at local level and regional level, and we'll have to develop the future strategy to our regional affiliates and, of course, for CEE Hub. And I hope that you will enjoy. You will bring to your home many knowledge from our conference, and you will apply in the future at local level. Yes, I'll take my time so small, and that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehman, for your wonderful words, and for thank you for Georgia Wikimedia team for organizing this event. And, now I want to invite founder of Wikipedia, Mr. Jimmy Wales, who will join us via video call. And despite the early hours, we thank him that he was able to join us today here to welcome you all at our conference. So the floor is yours, Mr. Jimmy.
Hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, hello. Oh, and is everybody seeing me? Hello? Should I start? I can't tell if we're just testing. Oh, okay. Hello. Okay. Very good, thank you. I'm so sorry. I thought we were just testing still. Unfortunately, I can't see anyone, and so I don't really know what's going on. But I can hear a little bit. Oh, hello. Yay. This is wonderful. This is perfect. Oh, now I'm happy. It's very hard to speak to a blank screen, but now I can speak to humans, and I like humans, so that's very good. So good morning. Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of CEE this year. I'm really disappointed I couldn't make it there in person today. I've just come back from one trip and I have another trip next week and I'm seeing my children. But I'm very excited to be here virtually. It is 6 a.m. here, which is seriously early. See, I see the smiles. This is very good. Okay, well, so this year is the first ever international Wikimedia event in Georgia. I have never been to Georgia, which I want to cure as soon as possible. But we've seen all around the world that hosting an event can have a lasting impact on the local community. Mehman and the user group are working hard to support Wikimedia projects and to grow the Wikimedia movement throughout Georgia. And I hope that this weekend's event will allow the user group to continue successfully expanding cooperation and advocacy locally. The CEE conference is a celebration of everything that you've achieved over the past year. This includes creating the first ever regional Wikimedia hub in the movement. Wikimedia, we're a centralized, volunteer-led movement, and you're all leading the way with different structures of regional leadership and decision-making. The idea of regional hubs was first born out of the movement's strategy discussions, and hubs are a way to create networks of support and collaboration that unite many communities in a region together. I understand that the design process for the CEE hub actually started 3 years ago, based on more than a decade-long cooperation in the region, which is something to be really proud of, that long-term cooperation, long-term friendships, now becoming a more formal and more organized hub. From the beginning, the CEE Hub was created through discussions with representatives of several communities in CEE to create a new governance structure that is developed by the communities for the communities. In many ways, the CEE region is a pioneer in building more equitable and community-driven governance structures. The CEE Hub has the potential to show how decision-making can move closer to communities and how different regions can have a more unified voice and representation across the movement. I'm following the work of the CEE Hub, and I'm very interested to learn more about what you accomplish over this coming year. Last month in Singapore, when I was at Wikimania, I was able to meet several members of CEE, and of course I was able to celebrate Anton Protsiuk, who was our Honorable Mention Wikimedian of the Year. Yay, Anton. Anton works as a volunteer editor, administrator, and bureaucrat on Ukrainian Wikipedia with more than a decade of experience. He is a manager at Wikimedia Ukraine, and since 2001 he's led all of their programs, including community support, media outreach, editor recruitment, and contests and campaigns, in addition to contributing to the CEE Hub. What struck me most about Anton is his thoughts about the future of Wikipedia. He's thinking about what it takes to keep Wikipedia and our projects relevant in the future, 2030 and beyond. He's optimistic, curious, and collaborative, all traits that are the reason he received a Wikimedian of the Year award this year. Anton, thank you so much for all your work with the Wikimedia Ukraine and for your contributions to this movement. So, while I can't be there, oh yes, there's a little bit of lag, so that's fantastic. Okay, great. While I can't be there today, I'm looking forward to joining all of you for CEE for next year's Wikimania in Krakow. I understand that the 2024 Wikimania will be a region-wide collaboration, which is a shining example of the collaborative spirit of this region. I can't wait to join you all in 2024. It will be a celebration. Okay. Good morning. Have a lot of fun. And I'm going back to bed.
Thank you very much for your wonderful words. Now I want to invite to deliver her speech to Mrs. Eliso Bolkwadze, who is an outstanding person and supports the works of Wikimedia movement in Georgia, who really wants and wishes success for Wikipedia. Mrs. Eliso Bolkwadze is the chairman of the Culture Committee of the Parliament of Georgia. She is an UNESCO Artist for Peace and Georgian classical pianist. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. We are very happy to see you all here in Tbilisi, in Georgia. So I'm Culture Committee President of Commission for the Culture in Parliament, and we are very, very happy to have very close collaboration with Wikipedia members and groups since 3 years now. So, welcome to Georgia. It's a really great pleasure to meet you today in person, the largest and most extraordinary members of the Wikimedia movement, the Central and Eastern European movement in Georgia. Wikipedia and other Wikimedia projects are essential part of modern life because they make life easier for millions of people around the world, providing with the most important things today, reliable information free of charge. Wikipedia is a very hard work for the future, especially in developing country like Georgia, where free and verified information play a crucial role in building active, development-oriented democratic society. Projects like Wikipedia are the best way to make society better, to raise the nation self-awareness, develop more social responsibility. Wikipedia brings country together, and our today meeting is one of the bright examples for this. Above all, the most important mechanism is to encourage Wikipedia in every possible way and supporting it from the government institution, and it could be really very important for Wikipedia projects. I'm very proud to say that cooperation between the Culture Committee of the Parliament of Georgia and the Wikipedia Community User Group Georgia counts several years. Public access to free knowledge and information is one of the Parliament's top priority, and collaboration with Wikipedia is very important to us. Last year, members of the Wikipedia Community User Group Georgia participate in Batumi Black Sea Music and Art Festival, which is one of the most prestigious cultural events in Georgia under the high patronage of UNESCO. The representative of Georgian Wikimedia, all group was in Batumi, and they introduced to audience the specific work of Wikipedia. Let me also mention that Wikimedia Community User Group Georgia has submitted a legislative initiative to the Parliament of Georgia on freedom of panorama, which currently is an active discussion in the relevant committee. It's a very, very important work. I hope that the Parliament discussion will be very, very successful and positive, and Georgia will join the members, a number of countries in which the freedom of panorama is legal. So I wish, of course, more Wikipedia in Georgia and more Georgia in Wikipedia. This is very important. So I also believe that your being here will be very fruitful, and you will have, really enjoy to be here, and you will have a lot of emotion and discover wonderful country as a Georgia. So welcome again as soon as possible, and really we are happy to be here together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Elisa Bolkwadze, for your wonderful words and for your support in Wikimedia movements in Georgia. So now I want to invite the General Director of the Georgian Public Broadcast, a chair of the Gender Equality Steering Group of the European Broadcasting Union, and an enthusiast of the Wikimedia movement who also supports the work of Wikimedia in Georgia. So please, Mrs. Tinatin Berdzenishvili, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. And before I start my a little bit formal speech, really, I feel so, how to say, the same with your community, because we are also in the European Broadcaster Union CEE group. And this is the largest group in Europe, so congratulations to gathering in Tbilisi, because it's so important for our country. So I feel really privileged to be here in one of the oldest and significant university in Georgia, and it was founded in 1918, so we are so proud to be here. It's really a historical building also. The history of our country's media is particularly fascinating. It will soon be 100 years since the first signal, the first radio broadcast was in 1925, and the first television broadcast took place in 1956. So we'll listen a lot about first Georgia, etc. We are very proud of our country. Today, the public broadcaster integrates multiple platforms, both traditional and new media, and recently, just a couple days ago, we launched the first free BVOD player, One TV Play. You can download it. It's pretty brand new, which provides high-quality content for the entire community, each of its members, that reflects diversity, inclusion, and common values. Misinformation and fake news are major issues in Georgia, as in the other countries all around the world. You know it. All European public broadcasters are united in force to challenge and promote the distribution of verified information, the growth of media literacy, and the defense of the concept of safe media, or good media, if you like. I'm sure you all agree it's the most challenging duty in the context of disruptive media landscape, marked by war, by political chaos, and the constant change. But if you can't be perfect, it does not mean you can't be good. So we are trying to keep going. On World Press Freedom Day in 2023, the Georgian public broadcaster joined the European Perspective project. I do hope you know about this project a lot, but I will briefly tell you about that. This project, run by the European Broadcaster Union, and tries to bring together verified, credible newsrooms from different European countries. This collaboration involves 18 newsrooms from 15 nations. The important point is that the news provided by journalists in their native language is simultaneously translated by artificial intelligence, sorry for our translators, into all languages, eliminating the need of extra human interaction. The project is also technologically sound, and it is a novelty for our country. One of the important functions of the public broadcaster is the spreading of knowledge, and we are same here. Wikimedia platform is quite active and popular in Georgia. Wikipedia and Wikimedia, and you know better than me that it was developed by Georgian volunteers under the name Wikimedia Georgia, and features many international stories and presents Georgia stories on a globe and scale. I'm extremely proud that one of the founders of Wikimedia Georgia and one of the managers or administrators, as you call, of the Georgia Wikimedia works for the public broadcaster and provides content for the scientific department. I have so many stories about him, but I will be very formal today. And this is, I'm pretty sure you know all him, Mikhail Chabukashvili. And I believe you are very fortunate to have someone like him within the ranks of Wikimedia. So I hope your visit to Georgia is formal words, but I really do hope that your travel to Georgia will be with fun, just have a fun and take this opportunity. And before you gulped within the Georgian wine, I really, really invite you all, if you like, in Georgian public broadcaster, all of you. I know that there are 160 people or so, but we will be happy to just welcome you there if you like. And yeah, thank you. And if you have any questions, I am really very open, without a formal speech, to answer all your questions. And if I may have one question to you, how many, because I know that this is Eastern Europe, how many of you have public broadcasters in your countries? Just raise the hand. So literally, majority, right? So I think that I'm a big believer of public broadcaster, and just spread the word about the cornerstone of democracy, because we have to keep democracy, free media, and be together in these really, really very challenging times. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Now I would like also to invite the CEO of the Wikimedia Foundation, Ms. Mariana Iskander, who unfortunately was not able to join us here in person today, but recorded a greeting video for us, so let's listen to it together.
Hello, I'm Mariana Iskander, the CEO of the Wikimedia Foundation. I wanted to send a message of welcome and appreciation as you begin the CEE regional meeting this year in Tbilisi. While I can't join you in person, I have enjoyed getting to know a lot about this region from many of you in my conversations over the last year and a half at the Wikimedia Foundation, and also from my own travels in the region, including the beautiful country of Georgia. How exciting to have Georgia finally hosting its first event in Wikimedia this year. I wanted to quickly say how much I admire this region for some of the ways that you've been working and teaching the rest of us how we can better achieve our strategic vision as we look to 2030. The first thing that really strikes me is how much of a role model the CEE region is for strong cooperation across borders and affiliates. You have been doing this for more than a decade, coming together to build lasting and effective regional campaigns, celebrations, and to support the growing of Wikimedia communities. This is why we are all watching and learning from the work that you're doing to establish a regional hub. I also really appreciate the focus that you've had on growing content on our projects. I know that there are many events that happen across the region to do this, and particularly CEE Spring, which is an opportunity for thousands of articles to get added to the projects each year. I know that what this has resulted in is a number of contributions to our global movement, including Wiki Loves Earth. I'm also delighted to hear that there's been a more intentional effort to bring young people into the region and into our work through the CEE Youth Group. I want to acknowledge that all of this is happening during a time of war, increasing threats, and restrictions on access to knowledge, particularly in your region. You exemplify the true spirit of Wikimedia, and we are honored to be able to participate alongside you, both in person and virtually. Thank you for inviting me and Jimmy and our staff and our colleagues to be part of this, and we are all looking forward to the countdown to next year's Wikimania, when so many people from around the world will be gathered there in your region and in Poland. I just wanted to say thank you again for giving me an opportunity to be with you in this way, and I look forward to seeing you all next year. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Barbara Klein, coordinator of CEE Hub, to greet us all. So please. The floor is yours.
So, hello everyone. I want to welcome you not just on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of the CEE Hub project and the whole team. My name is Barbara, and I'm CEE Hub coordinator, and I'm the last one to speak today. And I'm actually sort of your final barrier between the conference and the content, and that is why I do not plan to speak long. It will be some 55 minutes. So, okay, the attempt to joke was fine. I got your attention, and it won't be that long, I promise. So today, I will not be talking about CEE Hub, 3 pillars, year 2, our governance, but I want to address something more basic, and that is what CEE Hub is, and who decides what we are doing, what our activities are. And to answer these questions, I want to use this time travel device and take you a bit back in time. And I want to take you back to autumn 2022, to Ohrid, when I was also standing in front of a really large room with more than 100 unknown faces, complete strangers back then to me. And I was back then offered to work as a CEE Hub coordinator. A coordinator of a project with important goal of supporting CEE communities, more than 35. The project had roughly defined activities, but not quite defined methods and approaches. And I knew I was part of something big. We were supposed to bring more equity to CEE region and also to support those who need support the most. Those communities that need support really more than those which are organized. And when being asked back then what CEE Hub is, what activities we will be doing, I would simply explain that what I read in job description and what I knew from Meta, and that was that we will be working on activities that are defined in the project and that they are prescribed, and that was our direction and goal. And I was also overwhelmed, both with positive excitement and fear of unknown, undefined. And now, speeding a bit forward, okay, our time travel is going fast. Between that moment in time and today, many things were happening. We have been establishing communication channels. We started CEE Hub newsletter, thanks to many people and my colleague Tony. We also communicated with many of you on various occasions. We were listening to you. We were providing grant writing support, organizing learning sessions, and also describing some work processes. And many things were happening. Because it's really a lot, I have to pause a bit. And now, yes? Okay, so I'm pausing now, and I'm standing in front of you now here today. And it's not anymore 100 unknown faces, it's many familiar faces. Some people even became friends, which is really good. And coming back to that question that I asked first, and that is what CEE Hub is, and who decides and determines what we are doing and what CEE Hub is becoming. My answer to you is it's not that simple. It's not straightforward, because Hub is many things. We are all individuals with different needs, and each community has its pace, its processes, and different focus. So for some of you, during the past year, Hub was useful grant writing support. To some, it was opportunity to get scholarship to come here and attend this meeting. To others, it was opportunity to purchase some SWOG materials, awards for your community. So it really meant different depending on your own perspective and where you are currently. And a good way for me to describe Hub today is that it's like Wikipedia. It's a project, it's not finished, it's work in progress, it's co-creation, it's writing, editing together, thinking together, working together. And to conclude, today, Hub is here to support you in several fields based on our capacity, and you're all invited to join in a way that you see fit, in the way how it fits your community and your work. All of you together with CEE Hub team can determine, co-create the future activities of CEE Hub by working and thinking together. There is no defined limit, but there is a serious precondition, and that one is that we should all be connecting, learning from each other, and working together, creating together. And with that being said, I'm stopping the device because the time travel machine was fake after all, and I'm bringing you back to present completely. I want you to enjoy next 3 days, meet each other, talk to each other, learn from each other, and be here. Also take something and give back. That's the way to go. That's it.
Thank you so much. Indeed, it was a great speech for our ending of our opening ceremony. So after this, we will have an icebreaker. So because this is an auditorium, we kindly ask you to go to the hall and make small groups and talk about your expectations of our meeting and also your favorite projects of our Wikimedia movement, and in generally, what's the part of Wikimedia movement that inspires you, and what do you expect in the future with regards to Wikimedia projects, Wikimedia movement and projects, of course. So thank you very much all for listening to us, and let's have a wonderful meeting and conference. Thank you very much.
experience in editing Wikipedia because they're less intimidating than some other writing campaigns, for example, competitions, because new editors don't feel pressure to write as many articles as possible in a given time frame. We can say that Wikimedia Serbia has been on a journey that started from organizing local editathons. Next step was establishing regional collaboration, and the third step, and at least for now the final step, was putting international writing campaigns into motion. And we will talk more in detail about each of those steps so you can grasp a bigger picture about it.
So hi everyone, from me. So Wikimedia Serbia is one of the oldest chapters there is, and we've existed as Serbia and Montenegro, Wikimedia Serbia and Montenegro, since 2005. And we've all, from the get-go, we've had a lot of activities and a lot of offline events, and that's what offline events actually defined us for the first few years. But it never occurred to us to use those first years to organize editathons, and they were not a word back then. There was not a word editathon in 2005 and 2006, but once the glam movement started rolling and editathons became more prominent in the wiki world, we decided that we wanted to do them as well, because we did pioneer several things, but we also wanted to learn from the movement and take good good lessons and implement them locally. So one of our first local editathons was in 2013, so about 10 years ago, and that we wanted to organize like freestyle events where people can just come and write about whatever they wanted to, and then over the years, we try to sort of make them more topical or thematical so that it makes more sense, so that it could be more focused. And then we decided that actually cooperating with regional institutions, with local institutions like GLAM partners makes a lot of sense. It gave us an opportunity to basically to use the potential of the partners. So, for example, they had a lot of resources, a lot of references that we could use, and we also structured these events to include both Wikipedians but also GLAM partners. So an event like an editathon in a cultural institution setting would include first short Wikipedia explainer or workshop or any sort of event where we would explain to the GLAM staff how to edit Wikipedia, how they can contribute. But also afterwards we had this several hour-long session of writing articles where experienced Wikipedians could help each other, help the less experienced Wikipedians, but also the GLAM partner staff. So we've had a lot of those. One of the first pioneer ones was in the National Library of Serbia, so one of the largest institutions there is. But it was so it seems like a top-down approach, but actually it was very, very grassroots. We tried to start this because we had an opportune moment with a staff person from the library that helped us out and provided the place, and so the space for that, and resources and everything. Then we also had cooperations with Institute Goethe in Belgrade, with several other museums, like Museum of African Art. So we organized visits to the museum with a guided tour. And then afterwards, we went to a different location to write articles about what we saw. And that was really interesting because there are a lot of interesting things in Africa that we weren't aware of. These collaborations with cultural institutions actually help the community twofold, because they make these cooperations possible. We try to transfer our spirit of collaboration and writing Wikipedia articles to the GLAM partners, but they also help us tremendously with resources that otherwise wouldn't be available to us. So this is something that's proven a good model. The results of these events are not spectacular. They're not hundreds of thousands of articles, but then we try to focus on the quality rather than the quantity. Yeah, I think that's it for this. Yeah, I just wanted to share another thing. Online events are something that has happened more recently, but yeah, that also happens within the community. Online events can last for a longer time because you don't have the constraint of being in a physical place for a limited time frame, and people then can edit on their own in their own time, but that sort of lacks the interaction that we have in offline editathons.
Well, in terms of the organization of local editathons, we have some recommendations based on our experience that we want to share with you. First step in organizational process is for sure picking the topic for your editathon, and we recommend you to bear in mind that topic should be broad enough so you are able to make a comprehensive and extensive list of articles that you suggest editors to write about during the editathon. And again, it should be broad enough that gathers the editors with different interests. But it also should be specific enough in order to catch attention of a partnering organization or editors you know are especially active in a certain topic. Next step is, of course, call for action, because you need to spread the word about your editathon. And in this stage, you can use any communicational channels available, mailing lists, Village Pump, of course, but even Discord or Telegram, and there may be better solution because they're less formal and people are more willing to join them if you approach them in less formal setting. Something that we found interesting in our experience is that sometimes it's better to individually contact editors who you might think would be interested in being part of the editathon than just relying on a general call for editors to join your event. And the last step is, of course, promoting your event on social media, but also other platforms and outlets such as the traditional media, podcasts, wherever you can. And this is an important step, and it's usually overlooked, but it can help grab attention of people who are not part of the Wikimedia movement, but who might be interested to become Wikipedia editors or Wikimedia volunteers.
You see us switching. We wanted to keep things lively. As we organize these kinds of events, we found that there's a potential in crossing the borders. Not everything needs to happen within Serbia. So we wanted to at first do cross-border cooperations, and we actually did that several years ago. That was, I believe, 2014 and 15 with Hungary and with Bulgaria. So we organized actually several days or like 2 to 3 day events, like wiki camps. It's a maybe not the most appropriate term, but it's like a freestyle event for people to gather around, to go sightseeing, to organize cultural activities, but also cooperate on different topics on Wikipedia and other Wikimedia projects. And we did that in the northern town of Serbia, of Subotica in Serbia, and Szeged in Hungary, in southern Hungary. But also we had a cooperation next year with Sofia and Pirot, I believe, and that was really interesting because that also gives you the opportunity to exchange ideas between different communities that otherwise don't interact among each other, but they're very close, and there are definitely similar cultural aspects to these communities. We sometimes are not really aware of how similar we are in several aspects, but once we get together and cooperate in this way, we find that it's actually very, very interesting, and we can actually cooperate together. We write on our own Wikipedias, of course. We write on Serbian, Bulgarians on Bulgarian Wikipedia, but still, it covers similar topics. I think this is a great way to sort of interchange ideas and information, actually. But also, we did have a cooperation back in 2015, or 17, I forget, with Wiki for Media Freedom, an Italian organization that reached out to us and to the Caucasus region, actually, which we're in right now. And we also had several events that were focusing on media freedoms and pluralism-related content. So these events that were like standalone events that were organized either by someone else or by us are something that sort of sparked this regionalization or spread outside of the borders of Serbia. But that also helped with better coverage of a lot of ideas that otherwise wouldn't have been covered, but also with the visibility of those topics. But this is not the end. This was just the beginning, because what we figured out, what we wanted to do is go international, and I'm going to leave. Let's not talk about that.
And for the big final, in 2020, Wikimedia Serbia embarked on a new journey and organized international writing campaign on the occasion of World Roma Day. And this event gathered Wikipedia editors from all around Europe and from 19 language editions of Wikipedia, which was impressive. And this event was focused on writing articles about Roma minorities, their identity, their culture, their history, and some issues they face daily. And the whole goal of this event was to actually celebrate Roma culture and history, which is quite rich, and also to raise awareness about certain issues they face daily, like prejudice and discrimination, and kind of offer tools in order to combat those, this prejudice and discrimination. This event has been organized every year since 2020, and next year it will be the 5th edition of this event, so stay tuned. And if you want, you can be part of this huge event. 2022 was a special year because we organized 2 international writing campaigns. One was on the occasion of World Refugee Day, and this event was also focused on writing and improving articles about ongoing refugee crisis, about human rights of refugees, about problems that refugees face on their journey, about films and books that try to depict the experience of refugees so we can understand it firsthand. And this event was again focused on raising awareness about issues that refugees face along their way. The 3rd International Writing Campaign was organized because Belgrade last year was the host of Europride. So we decided to mark this event by organizing Wiki Loves Europride. And this campaign was focused on writing and improving articles on topics that are related to queer festivals, prominent LGBTQI+ members of the LGBTQI+ community, also about films and books that are about queer topics, important organization, historical events regarding anything LGBTQI+ related, or any other topic that celebrates human rights and diversity. And this event was joined by Wikipedia editors from 10 language versions of Wikipedia.
Yes, and now about the results. I just want to say that hiring Nevena about a year and a half ago helped us tremendously in making these events possible, because our prior experiences have been that this sort of activity was fringe. It was something that we were doing alongside many other things, but this has become now like strategically very important thing for us to do, and we hired Nevena as a diversity program manager, and what she's been talking about is basically diversity in its full extent, and or maybe not exactly full, but definitely we tried to explore different avenues and different niches that haven't been covered, and that we discovered there was a content gap, but also editorialship gap. So these initiatives are very important. And I'm saying this in the context of results because I don't want you to look at these results and say, yeah, I mean, in all these years we've created not even 1,200 articles. I wanted you to think about the fact that this brings much more impact in terms of quality rather than quantity. And even though these are not shabby results, they are not great, like they're not overwhelming. We've had several hundred participants so far, which is a big deal because they have been introduced to Wikimedia. They have because a lot of them are not Wikipedians, and they were basically not taught about, but like they were introduced to these topics. And also Wikipedians who have participated have, their awareness is much greater about these missing topics, about these missing chapters in Wikipedia. We've covered so far about 30 Wikipedias, but that's not enough. We are aware we have tenfold of that around the world, and we're not hoping to cover all of them, but it's something that I think many other Wikipedians, especially larger ones, can participate in. We know that this is not the same, like all these LGBTQ editathons and Roma Day editathons and others are not on the parity or the level of 8th of March editathons. What was the Wikigap? Yeah, sorry, I blanked for a minute. Wikigap, they have been huge. They have seen a lot of influence and a lot of participation, but maybe we're keeping that as a role model, as something that we could achieve with some of these. Of course, not every language or every country deals with all of these problems, or daily issues socioeconomically. But yes, we're here to sort of evangelize these topics as important ones, and also to include more projects. Wikimedia Commons is definitely one of those, and it's been used, and a lot of contributions have been made to it, especially during the Europride. But also Wikidata is something that can definitely benefit from these campaigns.
Well, we hope you got inspired so far, and now if you were wondering, well, how can I organize an international editathon, we are here to help. We will give you some tips, again, based on our experience that you might find useful in those attempts. First, what we recommend is, of course, creating the page on Meta. And one of the most important aspects of that page is the table containing a list of articles and showing whether certain articles exist in other Wikipedia language editions or not. The example of that list is provided here. And if possible, it would be nice to divide that list into subcategories so it's easier to navigate, and in person is, for example, mostly interested in movies or books, he can easily find the topics he wants to write about. Why is this table important? Well, because it serves as a shortcut for editors to see what articles they can write about, and also offers links of that articles on another language editions of Wikipedia, which is helpful if editors want to translate articles instead of writing them from scratch. After you created your page on Meta and after you created the table with list of articles that you suggest editors to write, next step is, of course, to invite members of other affiliations and user group to join your event, because what's the point if there are no members to participate? In doing so, we recommend you to think about all the contexts that you made during events such as this, because they can really come in handy if you know a person who is a member of certain user group of her affiliation. It certainly eases the process, but even if you don't know any member from a certain affiliation or user group, we recommend you to try to personalize your message as much as possible, find any information online that can help you in this process, and avoid just using generic emails that you send to different email addresses, because that's kind of not really, that does not really have a purpose. Again, start with communication with other chapters and user groups as soon as possible, at least 3 weeks before your event, but if possible sooner. Optimal is probably 4 to 6 events prior to your event. And in this communication process, bear in mind that there are a lot of things happening in Wikimedia movement, and sometimes people have a lot on their plate, so be persistent and be patient in your communication, and don't hesitate to contact people more than once. That's it from us. Now it's turn to you. If you have any questions, answers, suggestions, feel free to share.
Do we have a mic around, or not? We'll just repeat the question.
Okay. The last slide had the list of subjects. How important is it to have the English version or some other popular, let's say, language version for each of these?
Well, I would say that it is important because, I mean, most of the topics are already covered in the English version of Wikipedia, and most of the people worldwide understand English, and if they want to translate it, they have sources to do so. I think it would be good to include, like, at least English Wikipedia, but also French, German, Spanish, Chinese, any language that is spoken by a huge amount of people. So I think that it would be beneficial to include those.
But we do know that English Wikipedia doesn't have everything, and if a certain topic is not really covered that well by English Wikipedia, and for example, if we're talking about people, you know, they might have an international or English spelling, and then you can include them as well. For example, you know, if it's about a different concept, then maybe that's a bit trickier to include. But if it does have an English word, I would use that, because, as Nana said, English is the most recognizable language, so it does help. But I don't think it's wrong to include any other language there.
Yeah, of course. Don't hesitate to include certain topic if it doesn't have article on English Wikipedia, because English Wikipedia is also evolving, and because even members of other communities can edit an English Wikipedia and write about that topic on the English Wikipedia, which also helps and reach that project as well. So I think it would be good to think in those terms.
Tomasz?
First comment that I appreciate that you send a reminder about 2 weeks after your first email, because I usually answer your second reminder. and it's very useful. And the second comment that I had some problems in the localized pages, so this meta where the pages are translated, the translated pages are not updated with the content changes, so it has some problems sometimes, which we could think.
Yeah, so the comment was reminders are good. But also there might be some technical issues on Meta regarding translations, and that is, I want to say fine, because that sort of invites a lot more people to participate. We have capacity, only so much. So there are a lot of technical editors out there who can help out with that, me included, but maybe I don't have the time. But in any case, I think this could be an invitation for people to actually help out in different ways. Technical people can help in technical ways. People who are more versed in outreach can help in that way. So everyone can find their spot here.
Any other question or comments?
Has anyone had any bad experience with editathons? Like very bad experience?
Number of participants.
Low number of participants. I wouldn't call that very bad experience. I would call that mediocre experience, because as long as you have a few people, if you have 0, yeah, that might be bad. But if you have a few, that's still good because you still are doing something. Yes.
Have you had a very bad experience with an editathon?
I don't think so.
Again, not in terms that we had experience in which the participation wasn't to the level that we expected it to be, but not in the sense that everything was a complete disaster. I mean, maybe I only worked on online events, and those are easier to organize, and people usually participate in. I don't know what was the case with offline events. Was there any that nobody shows up to those events? But I don't think that we didn't had even those experiences. So yeah, maybe sometimes the results are not ones that you are expected, but in the end, if only one person writes a couple of articles, that is a couple of articles more on that topic, which is a success.
Yeah, especially if not a lot of resources have been put into organizing that. So, yeah, Justine?
I just wanted to say that we had that experience. We made an editathon on International Jazz Day.
Mm-hmm.
We had just 3 participants, but they created 20 articles.
Yeah.
It was not just in the same day, but they continued
Afterwards.
all week, and they converted, and they're not converted to Wikipedia.
Yes.
They regularly continue. So
Yeah.
disaster from the number of participants, but on the other hand, it was very good.
Yeah, that's actually not a disaster at all. So Justine was saying that there were 3 people, participants in an editathon, but in the end they turned out to be, they became Wikipedians, and they turned out to be long-term contributors, and that's actually, and they wrote 20 articles, not just on the day of, but also in the following days. So this is actually even better than having 50 participants that day and nothing else afterwards. So, wins can be defined in many different ways, and I think this is a very good example of how a not so good experience on the face of it can actually be a much greater experience afterwards.
Yeah, I would say that don't hesitate to have small wins, because especially in terms of more diversity topics, for example, queer topics, people are not as easily willing to write about those topics than some other topics. So even if you have, 15 articles on queer topics, that's 15 articles more on that topic, which can help people gain knowledge about certain things, and they can learn from it, they can combat the prejudice they have, and those 15 articles are beneficial. So small wins are fine, and don't get discouraged, because you're working on something amazing, and there is a bigger picture waiting, and there is and results are worth it, in my opinion.
I agree. We are out of time, unless Asaf gives us a few more.
We have more 15 minutes, so.
Well, Asaf gave us a few minutes more, so kindly. Shlomo is here to attest to that.
Hey. Does it work?
Yes.
Yeah. We have a bad experience with the feedback from our existing community. I think what we needed to learn, because we are running editathons for a long time, on different topics, including LGBT, human rights. And what I've learned, or what we learned the harder way, was like the sensitivity of the community to neutrality, and how different we experience certain topics in comparison to our community. For example, for them, some of our expresses, because of course if you need to find the people to edit that on, you promote. And some of this promotion was sometimes way too expressive, aggressive. So what we are learning now, or what we are trying to find, it's like a good balance, how to still be like accessible to our own community in the terms of like Wikipedia rules. We was accused that we promote like Ukrainian women and not Russian women last year during editathon. So this kind, like these things that could be sensitive for certain people in the community. Yeah. So this is what we are trying to find now, like better balance, and how to invite them more maybe to preparation phase, to anything that they can be part of from the beginning, because this helps massively. So this is maybe more like comment what can go wrong, and because then we like created like bigger gap, and we are trying to narrow it now. And as well, like maybe just like note, if you want Wikimedia Czech Republic, because I'm from Wikimedia Czech Republic, want to be part of some international challenges and contests, we would be very happy to. But we need more time for preparation. So at least like 1 month in advance. It's like approximately time where we are even able to accommodate in any way, because we are usually trying to find someone from the community to help us on this.
Right, that's a fair point.
Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, no, thank you for the comment. I just have something to add really quickly to that. I mean, that's something that the community struggles with and needs to define their own, and these events are also, they're being submitted to the community standards, just like any other writing content event, or just writing stuff, right?
But as well, thanks to your International Roma Day activity, because now we will finish our Women's on Wikipedia month 8th of April, because we want to invite and now we can plan forward. So we would like to create special events just to align with you, and we can then collaborate better on your international event as well. So that's our plan for next year.
Thanks.
Amazing.
I just wanted to add about the LGBT topics. We've had experiences in terms of notability. So sometimes these topics that we write about are niche, and the community at large doesn't necessarily think that they are notable enough for Wikipedia. So that's a struggle that we've had. So we've tried to sort of be sure that the list beforehand includes only things that will be considered notable for the community at large, but that's not an exact science, All right, thanks everyone.
Turn it off. And also YouTube. Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. This was supposed to be the session by my colleague Chris Schilling about grant making. He couldn't make it because of COVID. And I cannot deliver his session for him. So we thought we would make use of the time to demonstrate some tools. And my goal is to demonstrate tools that you, at at least most of you don't know. And the first tool I will demonstrate, I'm going to make it a little larger. I'm going to share links to all of these tools in our conference Telegram channel later, so don't worry if you can't see the URL. I'll share all of them. This is a really new tool. How many of you know the list building tool? No one. Wonderful. You know it. Okay. It's a really, really new tool from the Wikimedia Foundation's research team. It has a scary message at the top. No guarantees are made that this tool will be maintained. Just in case, it ever goes away, you will not be able to sue us, as though you would have been otherwise. Anyway, it's an experiment, but I think it's a good experiment. I am optimistic that this tool will stay. And the purpose is to allow us to quickly and easily make a list of articles around a topic. Now, we already have a lot of tools that make lists, like PetScan. How many of you know PetScan? Most of you. Wonderful. So, we have PetScan, we have all kinds of category intersections, we have Wikidata Query, right? Sparkle. So we have ways of generating lists, but they require some expertise, right? Wikidata queries require understanding Sparkle language. PetScan is a super powerful tool with a super confusing interface, right? Whereas this tool is really meant to be usable immediately by everyone. So I'm going to give you an example. You give it a seed, you give it a starting point, and it can be any article in any language. So I'm going to use English just so that we can all see it, and I'm going to use an article about a Hebrew author named Yonatan Ratosh. Okay, there is an English Wikipedia article about him, and I'm going to ask for, let's say, 20 results, and I click submit. That's it. I just picked a topic, picked a language, and in a few seconds, I get this list. Now, this is a list of articles that are somehow related to Yonatan Ratosh. And on the rightmost column here, you have this column called Why Similar, which says, well, this first one is similar because it contains similar words. This other one, the second one, is similar because it was read in similar sessions. This is a little bit of foundation magic because we have access to the reader logs, right? So we actually are able to suggest articles because the same readers who read Yonatan Ratosh also read about Yosef Lishansky. That's the thing that only this tool has access to. Yes? Yes, I told you I will paste all the URLs in the channel after I speak. I want your attention right now. I will paste the link to this. So, you have articles that link to similar articles, so they are probably somehow in the same field. And all of these different similarity vectors are presented to you in this very simple and easy query. You saw, I only had to just type a topic, and it gave me this list. Yes?
Is this distinguish between the language? I mean, if I write... does it use the exact expression? Because it uses queries, right, somehow?
Yes, it uses...
So if I write something in our language, does it use exactly the Czech expression?
You have to start with an existing article or Wikidata item.
Yeah.
Not just free text.
Yeah.
Okay? But I want to point your attention to the fact that the third result here, you see, is not a link. Do you see that? The third result is not an English Wikipedia article. How did that happen? Well, through Wikidata, right? So even though I was beginning from an English Wikipedia article, because it's about a Hebrew author, the magic of the list builder noticed that this guy, Yitzchak Ogen, the third result, is related. He's another Hebrew writer. He is related to Yonatan Ratosh, even though English Wikipedia doesn't have an article about him yet. But Hebrew Wikipedia does. So through Wikidata, we establish the relevance. So this tool even helps us, let's say we're English Wikipedians, it helps us kind of find gaps in our coverage from some given starting point. So it's a really powerful tool. Now, the power only starts with the list. Can you handle it? I don't want you to be drunk with power. Yes? Okay. So one amazing thing we can do is click this button here that says Save Articles to Page Pile. A page pile is just a tool that collects a number of articles. And why is it useful? Because then that page pile, it's like an ID, then that ID can be fed to other tools. So, for example, I can click this and... Have I clicked it? I can click this. Yeah, the demo effect. Let's try this again. Or, you know what? Let's go with, I don't know, Tbilisi. So, here, I have a list of articles related to Tbilisi. And I can click Save Articles to Page Pile. That worked. So you see, I now have I now have a page pile ID, and it's a permanent thing. So these 10 articles will forever be identified by 51820. Fantastic. Now, what can I do with this? Conveniently, for example, I can click the Mass Views tool. How many of you know the Mass Views tool? Most of you. So it's like a page views tool, but for a whole bunch of pages at once. And now I can see how many people read these related articles about Tbilisi. Again, this can be useful to recognize pages that are quite often read, but maybe need attention. Maybe they're not very good articles. And if a lot of people are reading them, we should probably fix them. So this is a very convenient way to just kind of generate a list, run it through some tool, in this case, the Mass Views tool. By the way, how many of you know the User Views tool? User Views? User Views is awesome. It's right here. It's one of the links on the Mass Views tool. And it's a fun way to, I don't know, let's pick a random victim here. I don't know, let's go with Zafer. Zafer from the Turkish Wikipedia. I can click Turkish Wikipedia, TR, click, I don't know, last year. Oh, it lost the username. There we go. And run the tool, and it will look at all the articles Zafer has ever created and give me the page view statistics for that. So it's like a personal impact tool. If you haven't ever used it, I really recommend it. It's an amazing thing to show people because you can, especially the kind of people who ask you, why do you spend so much time on Wikipedia? They're not even paying you, you know. So this is a great tool to answer that because eventually, there we go. We can see, these are some of the articles Zafer wrote, and you can see the number of page views they get. So 300,000 times last year, people read, I'm guessing the Turkish election article Zafer wrote. And on average, 7,300 times every day, someone reads an article Zafer created. By the way, not just, I mean, he's also edited a bunch of articles, but these are just articles he created. 7,300 times a day, someone reads that. Isn't that amazing? So you could do this with your own articles in your own language. You can take a snapshot or do it live when you're doing a workshop to remind people what we do really matters. A lot of people read this. So that was just kind of an aside. I just think everybody should know and use this tool. The other thing you can do with the list builder is feed it to PetScan. Most of you said you know it. So you can just feed the list of those 10 Tbilisi articles to PetScan and then do all the things PetScan can do with it using the page pile as the source instead of categories or other things in PetScan. So if we run this query, we will just see these 10 results, right? The same 10 results we had in the PetScan. And, you know, we can imagine we had 50 results maybe. But now we could constrain it or filter it in all the advanced ways that PET-scan allows us, right? Like only articles that are larger than this size or smaller than this size, or articles in this list that have not been edited in the last 3 years and maybe need updating, or articles from this list that don't have a Kazakh article, right? All the things we can do with PET-scan are available with this super easy starting point. You can just point it at any topic. I mean, I would demonstrate in Georgian, but I can't type Georgian. But you can, start with whatever language you want. It'll show you red links. It'll show you ideas for articles to create. So you should use this tool. I think it's great and doesn't require Sparkle, doesn't require understanding our weird category system, etc. We have a few minutes left. I wanted to show a few other tools while we have the time. How many of you know the Humaniki site? Very few. So you should know this site, and I will again share the link. This is a statistics site that was started by a volunteer, supported by a Wikimedia Foundation grant, and it provides statistics about the gender gap in content, right? Content, not participation, of all the Wikimedia projects, so that it has a dashboard. You can select gender by country, gender by project, so you can compare how your Wikipedia does vis-a-vis other Wikipedias. You can look how well you cover, date of birth, right? You can see if are you covering older women or younger women or whatever. You can search by occupation. Really interesting site. I just encourage you to explore it. I'm not going to demonstrate it at length, but you should know it exists. I also wanted to make sure you're all aware of Video to Commons. How many of you know that tool? Still not a lot. So videos are missing on Commons. We have millions and millions of photos of everything. We have a photo of this building, a photo of this building at night, a photo of this building at night in October. We have a lot of coverage of photos, but videos, we have almost nothing. For years, I used to give a tools demonstration and point out the fact that the article Dance on Wikipedia had no video. On English Wikipedia, there was no video showing what a dance is, of any kind. These days, there's already a video. But for years, we were describing dance and not providing even a tiny video to demonstrate it. So that's the level of coverage we have on video, very, very low. And local things in your country, local customs, local, tool making, food preparation, all kinds of things like that are terribly underdocumented. And one reason for that is that the way we would like to upload videos, we take a video, usually on our phones these days, and we just want to upload it, but we can't because of patents. Because the formats that our phones produce, MP4 or MOV, are patent encumbered and cannot be uploaded to Commons. Commons will reject your video file. The solution is this tool. You should know it exists. Video to Commons. You can upload an MP4 file to Video to Commons. You log in, and then you can upload the file, and it'll convert it for you into WebM, the free format that is supported by Commons, but that no phone supports. It'll convert it for you, and then it'll put it on Commons for you. So that I have just robbed you of the excuse for why you are not uploading video to Commons, right? All of you are now going to start uploading videos to Commons. You can also upload videos of you dancing. Yes?
Why does Commons not do it itself?
Excellent question. You would think Commons should just say, yes, I will take your MP4 file and I will convert it. Personally, I think Commons should do that. It doesn't do that for complicated and boring infrastructural reasons. Maybe one day it will. This function is kind of a complement for something that Commons doesn't do right now, but should. And it is a good question because this tool is not as stable as the Commons infrastructure, which is like production level, world-class Wikimedia server level, whereas this tool is just a tool on ToolForge. Sometimes it goes down. Awkward. But one day, maybe. Yes?
Is there agreement that it should?
Well, yes, there is agreement that one day it should. There's not agreement on where it should be in the priorities. Yeah, so that was another tool I just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of. And how many of you know Tabernacle? Tabernacle. Yeah. So, Tabernacle. So, Tabernacle is a fun tool also by Magnus, the author of PetScan and many, many Wikimedia tools. And it allows you to make edits to Wikidata in a tabular way, in a systematic way. It's also useful for lists and things. So the way you use it is you feed it a bunch of items. What do I mean by a bunch of items? Either a Sparkle query result or a page pile that you created, for example, with the list builder, or literally a manual item list. So you feed it that list of items, and then you add columns here. You see the add column button? I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And you tell it what columns you would like in the table. You can add, for example, you can say, well, I want the English label, and I also want the Georgian label, because I want to make sure they have English and Georgian, and I want the property, I don't know, 106, occupation, and other things. And I've prepared an example for you to save time. This is a query for Georgian writers, poets, novelists, journalists, etc., that Wikidata knows about, of course. Okay, there's a little Sparkle query here. We'll not go into how we make those, because there's a whole recorded tutorial about Sparkle that I teach of 2 hours. It's somewhere on Meta, on Commons, and I can link to that as well later. But anyway, I made a query for Georgian writers, and you can see that the columns I included here are English label, Georgian label, English description, and the language spoken, written, or signed property. And what I got is this. I hope you can see it in the back. It's a table with the 200 and something Georgian writers that Wikidata is aware of so far. And we can see, for example, there is a gentleman named Stanislav Sadalski. Maybe he was not writing in Georgian, but he's probably a citizen of the Soviet Republic of Georgia. And so we see that he doesn't have a Georgian label on Wikidata. And we can just double-click. If I could type in Georgian, I would do it. But I can just double-click, add the label, press Enter. That's it. I have added a Georgian label. I hope you see the power of that. So it's like filling in an Excel sheet, right? I can just fill in whatever is missing instead of, going into the item, clicking Add property, etc. In other cases, we can say, I don't know, there's a king of Georgia here, King David IV of Georgia, that doesn't have languages spoken. I'm assuming King David of Georgia spoke Georgian. So, we can literally just double-click here, add Georgian, and select it, and that's it. I have just made an edit to Wikidata asserting that King David did in fact speak Georgian. So, and again, I selected these columns. Remember, you can add other columns. You can, I don't know, add the sex or gender property and make sure that these Georgian people all have gender specified. Here we have a missing description. This is an example, right? There's Jamal Adjashvili. They have a Georgian label, but no English label. And they have no English description. So again, if I speak Georgian, I can probably easily complete that. So that was just a quick example of the power of Tabernacle, an amazing tool that you should all use. This is more or less the time I have. I don't want to steal any time from others, but we have like 2 or 3 minutes for questions. Yes, I will send all the links. Yes.
I just only a quick question about the list building tool.
Mm-hmm.
What's the algorithm behind the search, and is it possible to manually set it to search through categories and other places?
To search particularly?
To search into categories for related articles.
Yeah, so it's a tool that's designed to be simple, not super configurable, not with too many settings. So the answer is no, you cannot tell it how to search. It is offering you related items according to several models, as you saw, things that have words in common, things that link to the same thing. It uses multiple models of similarity. I actually cannot speak with precision on these modules, but they are documented somewhere on MediaWiki by the research team. But yeah, it's not designed to be like PET-scan where you can really control it. Rather, it's designed to be a quick way to generate a bunch of related articles, which can, be a quick start to an editathon, for example. You can just type. By the way, you can quickly generate little lists for each participant of the editathon. You can say, what are you into? Pop music? Great. What are you into? Literature? Let's write a writer. And you can, yeah.
Am I on?
Yeah.
I'm on. So again, with this list building tool, is it susceptible to wilfing?
To what?
Wilfing. So that's a term that I've coined, that a Serbian journalist coined. What was I looking for? Just jumping around Wikipedia articles, because it does seem to take into account the similar sessions and links, and that can sort of lead you astray. It's a relatively new tool, but are there any experiences that it produced results that are not relevant?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's why this column is so useful. It tells you why this thing is in the list. And one of the experiments I made was looking for something, maybe Tbilisi or something Georgian that I was looking for. And one of the results I got was the Kiryat Shaul cemetery in Tel Aviv. I cannot see an obvious connection, but it said that it was linking to similar articles. So, I mean, I guess I could just dig through what are the articles that the Kiryat Shaul article links to, and what are the articles Tbilisi links to, and maybe there's a similarity. So, yeah, there's no guarantee that this will give you only relevant articles for your definition of relevant. Again, it's a quick and dirty tool, or quick and simple tool, to just generate a bunch of probably relevant articles. Yeah.
It's a very good tool that indicates which articles get read and how to keep them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that is the time we have for tools demonstrations. I will send all the links. Please share it with your friends and colleagues back home.
Hi everyone. This session will be hybrid with one of the speakers online, so we'll need a minute or two to prepare. But before that, I have an absolutely unrelated but crucial question. Does everyone know what the Wikimedia Cuteness Association is? Who knows what the Wikimedia Cuteness Association is? No. The cuteness awareness is very low. So please check it on Meta. But the Wikimedia Cuteness Association is an official association of plushies supporting Wikimedia movement. The plushies attend the conferences. Yes, thank you. Attend the conferences, bringing important cuteness factor. If your community has a plushie that you would like to bring to conferences, please do. And I just wanted to note that apparently this session is supervised by the Wikimedia Cuteness Association, which is important and encouraging. Okay. Where's Mehman? Okay, because I think his role is to support the hybrid participation of my wonderful colleague.
Please join.
Okay.
Do you know
He should be there. I think he's there. I would probably need to check. We should have some waiting music. Does anyone want to sing? Please sing. Sing. Ah, yes. This is the magic of technology. Look. Chris is in the US, and at the same time, he is here. Yes, that's Chris. Now we need to check if we can hear Chris and if he can. Chris, say something, say hi. We can't hear you. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
I got this.
Just finish. Just 2-3 minutes.
No problem.
You should start.
I also
speak here.
Okay. Also, please be very kind to Chris because it's 3 a.m. where he is, so the level of commitment Chris has to be with you at the CEE meeting is amazing.
It's already late.
Yes. So we need Chris a bit because he will be sharing the slides, and what is a session without the slides? But I will, for the moment, I will go through the agenda so that Chris doesn't have to. So during this session, I will introduce to you the movement communications team at the Wikimedia Foundation, which is a team being there to support you in many ways. You will learn how through this session. And we will be talking a little bit about who we are, how we even got to be there where we are, and how you actually, as a movement, made us happen. We'll be talking about the local, regional, and product support that we are doing as a team, also a global support and some really cool things I will be talking about then, and also some absolutely invisible support that is happening. You don't know about it, you don't see it, but it's crucial for many things happening. So this is what will happen. I promise we have things to say. We're not just procrastinating the session like, oh, our time is over, we're going home. No.
I've heard there might be an interpreter's dance.
That's for the MCDC session. We'll be all interpreting the charter.
Can you speak, Chris?
Hola.
Yes, yes, yes! As a movement, we combat so many challenges successfully. I'm really proud of us. Okay.
Share.
Yes, Chris. Now your mission is to share the slides. Are you able to do it? Yes. Look, the magic keeps happening. Yes. Really, really cool. Okay. So while you were fighting with the sound problems, Chris, I went through the agenda and told what the session will be about. So now it is a moment for introductions. Since I have the mic, I will start. I'm Natalia Szafran-Kozakowska, and I'm the regional specialist for the European region in movement communications in the Wikimedia Foundation. What all those words mean, you will find out during the session. And now I'm handing over to my faraway but amazing colleague, Chris. Chris, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Joining you today from St. Louis, Missouri, which is a city in the state of Missouri in the middle of the United States. Kind of the middle of the United States. As Natalia mentioned, it's 3 in the morning here, so good afternoon to you all. I'm going to go to bed after this session. I've been a Wikimedian since 2013, and I've been with the foundation since about 2016. And thank you all for coming. As Natalia mentioned, we are going to talk a little bit about the department, or the team that her and I are on, and the support that we do to our communities around the world, but specifically today to the CEE region. The name of our team is Movement Communications, and this is kind of our remit. We work to build bridges and understanding within the movement. Our goal is to help people understand the mission and celebrate the role in its success. We're actually a fairly unique team in the communications department. Almost, I'd say the entire rest of the communications department is external facing to external audiences. And we're unique that we're inward facing. We work with folks within the community, whereas our coworkers in the comms department, like external comms and press releases and social media, are external facing. Natalia and I are here today to actually talk about the work of many people. There's close to 30 of us, I think, on the team, 25, something like that. And this is a quick overview of all those wonderful people, some of which hopefully you have met or have seen before. I like to think that we're actually a pretty unique team in that we're pretty dense when it comes to folks. We have a great number of people who are from the movement and who have been volunteers before, but we also have a really good mix of people who are new to the movement, who are learning about the foundation and volunteering and editing and the whole 9 yards for the first time. And you can learn more about our team on Meta. We have an entire page out there if you want to take a look at it. I think Natalia already kind of covered the agenda, so we're going to
topic related to the region, and then me, Barbara, and Tony, who's not here, are making it fun, interesting, and learning. So please join the bi-monthly CEE catch-ups. Okay. The other thing that Movement Comms is doing is supporting product, and I could talk about it, but there's a better specialist for that. Shimon, come on, Let's put you in the spotlight for a moment. Szymon, Szymon. Okay.
First of all, sorry for my throat. So, don't say that. So basically, we work with different product and technology teams. As you know, there are some, or may know, there are some teams building new features for regular MediaWiki users. So, for example, I work with the team building skins, and I will have my own session on Sunday about that. There are also teams working with on the new needs of newbies. Use these tools.
And while the amplifying, celebrating, and connecting across the movement can seem very abstract, we will bring it to some more details and some really cool things that are happening. Next slide, please. It's there. Okay, so Wikimania is the beloved conference of the Wikimedia movement, a global conference that brings us all together in one place each year. And while the main and amazing work on Wikimania is done by the dedicated volunteers in the core organizing team of Wikimania, Movement Comms is kind of at the backstage of the thing, supporting their work. I think it's quite an important information because this year Wikimania will be coming to the CEE region, to Poland, and I really, really hope, I'm pretty sure that I will see all of you there, but I really, really hope that also many of you, if not everyone, will be in some way engaged in that conference, and we will have the chance to be working on it together. So that's another thing, but now we'll go to another global thing that I really, really love. Chris, show the next slide. And what will I now do? I will look at my watch, because I could talk about it forever, and I will try not to. So as a movement, we have so many amazing people doing amazing work. Often this work is unrecognized. It happens somewhere on the wiki. Someone is correcting typos. Someone is writing articles. Someone is deleting articles which need to be deleted. This is also an important part of our work. Someone is adding things to Wikidata through interesting tools that Asaf shared. There's a lot of people who are doing great things, and we should celebrate this work, and I don't think we are doing it enough. And we have a whole movement worth of celebrating. So Wiki Celebrate is a very simple and kind and nice project about celebrating the amazing Wikimedians doing amazing work, the pillars of our movement who are every day bringing us closer to our mission. And we do it in a collaborative way with the movement. So there is a meta page, of course there is a meta page, with a nomination form where you can nominate different people to be celebrated. Sometimes we also go to event organizers in the movement and saying, hey, there is a CEE meeting happening. We would like to have a Wiki Celebrate element of that. Can you please, dear organizers, find us a person to be celebrated? And then we do something very simple. We give the celebrated person a Barn Star, which is the beloved way of showing appreciation to the Wikimedia movement. We tell their story through our channels, social media channels, and the diff blog. We also will give them a very small gift. And we give also their peers a chance to congratulate them and celebrate them with us. It's very simple, it's very small, but it's very joyful and I think extremely important to do that and to find time and space for that. We will be having a Wiki Celebrate moment during this conference. This month, the person who will be celebrated has been selected to celebrate, especially human beings, and sometimes we do it on a huge level. We have the Wikimedian of the Year.
And it's not just about positive things. I don't want you to think that, oh, I only have to publish things that are like super positive, super great, super exciting. No, we see things from all over the movement, and we encourage you to write about whatever it is you're working on. Eugene Normandy, who is Newcomer of the Year at Wikimedia for Wikimedia of the Year, he writes blog posts in Japanese just about the work he's doing, resources he's using, and the events that he's going to. We also love to see other stories from difficulties and challenges you're having in your community, or within a project, or within an effort you're doing. We don't necessarily just have to hear the good stuff. We also want to hear what difficulties you're having, because that's how we learn, and that's how we can exchange ideas and improve ourselves, improve the work that we're doing across the movement. Again, I really love Diff. It's probably 90% of my job, and I really, really encourage you all to take a look at it. We have a great community calendar there as well. You can create events, add events to the calendar, and you can search and filter by region or by topic. And it's pretty successful. I'm not a big braggart. I'm not going to be like, Diff is the best place ever. It is. I'm biased, but we actually do see a lot of traffic. Right now, Diff sees around 35,000. And we have close to 915 email subscribers, which means that not only do we have people going to the website, but people have actually opted in to receive in their inbox every single day, which is really surprising because people really like that, and it is really encouraging to see that people want to learn about the work that you're doing in your communities, want to hear about the difficulties, challenges. So please check out Diff. If you have questions, we'll have contact information at the end of the presentation, but we'd love to hear from you. Okay, moving things swiftly along, on to the next one. I want to talk a little bit about some invisible work. So some of this is invisible because it happens internally, and some of it hasn't been visible yet. I want to talk about two things that we're doing right now within the Movement Communications Department. I think this is probably the first time we've talked publicly about these, so I'm a little nervous. Please be kind. But if you have questions, again, please do reach out. The first thing I want to talk about is something that I don't think anybody in the room has ever seen. Okay, maybe Shimon has seen it. I'll have to say that he's probably seen this. It is blurry for a reason. I did not get permission before this presentation to show this, so I blurred it all out. That's why the slide's blurry. But this is an Asana board. This is a calendar showing different events and things that are happening on a timeline here. The Movement Communications team is responsible for coordinating movement communications. We actually have internal to the organization bi-weekly meetings where representatives from all the different departments across the foundation come together to share what they're working on and what sort of communication efforts and outreach and engagement, whatever it might be they're doing. You know, Shimon mentioned product releases and product updates. We try to coordinate all that internally with these bi-weekly with every single request we might have, and timing of things like elections and software changes and policy updates, trying to make sure those all don't happen on the same exact day. Again, which is blurry, doesn't show you any detail, is this very long calendar across all the different departments at the foundation. And I wanted to share this with you all to show that we do really care about trying to coordinate all this work, and that it is really challenging. I know I have, where you're like, this is too much. We are trying our best, and we love and appreciate any feedback or thoughts you have on this. One other thing I want to share with you, and our time is coming to a close, is something that will be visible and will be public very soon. As I mentioned at the top of this presentation, the community really wants a better front door to the foundation, something that is more organized and more accessible way of understanding what the foundation does, understanding how we're organized, and how to get in touch with people within the foundation. So what we're working on, which will hopefully be on Meta soon, I want to say in the next couple months, no promises, is a series of updates to pages on Meta having to do with the foundation's departments and teams. So the scope is very narrow, it's departments and teams. These pages will be consistently organized with consistent header navigation, a big giant button that says get in touch if you can't find what you're looking for, and that whole system will actually go through our answers at email query queue if you're not aware of that queue. And this whole system is we're working with our departments and leadership in our departments, working with a designer, and we're working with somebody who understands how to build MediaWiki templates in a consistent and reusable manner to build a series of consistent pages across MediaWiki that will be able to be searched and be consistent, so you can go in and find out what these different departments do, who are the people on these different teams, and how to get in touch with each and every one of them. We do have a Meta page about this project on Meta, and hopefully the plan is, again, first time saying this publicly, is within the next month we'll actually have these templates on Meta with some demo pages so the community can go and look and see how this will all work out. So I'm really excited to share these kind of invisible things or things that aren't quite yet visible with you all. And thank you for being kind, and I don't hear any pitchforks or torches, so I think we're doing okay so far. All right, and that's kind of the end of our presentation. I think we might have a few minutes for questions, but the last thing that we want to remind you all is Natalia is in the room with you. I'm very, very jealous. But you can get in touch with us in many different ways. We have a page on MediaWiki, communications/movement communications. Our email address is movementcomms@wikimedia.org. We really do want to hear from you about the work that we do, the ideas you might have, or the difficulties you're facing in your community. So please do reach out and talk to us. That's the biggest ask I have of you all.
Thanks, Chris. He doesn't sound like a person who hasn't been sleeping to 3 a.m., right? That's huge amounts of caffeine somewhere in the background. Okay, so if there are any questions, I'm happy. We and Chris are happy to answer. Also, I hope that what you heard gave you the impression, which is true, that some of our work that we are doing came from the asks and the problems that you were sharing, like the chaotic meta pages of the foundation, how can we reach out, or overwhelming communication. We all hear those things, so keep also bring the joys and the problems, basically. Okay, are there any questions or no? Okay, we don't have any questions, so I will just say, remember to learn more about the Wikimedia Cuteness Association. I'm really worried that the cuteness awareness is going down in the movement. And yeah, and if you have anything you want to talk about, I'm here and Chris will be happily answering your communication virtually, and we'll bring him to some in-person meeting in the future. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
So, a random comment from the audience for those that didn't see in the chat. Apparently, during this lunch break, there's going to be a group photo.
And the volunteers are going to lead us.